right, I'm going to take you through 3 of the more important things in lesson 2-1, which is all about slope-intercept form. The first thing that we're going to look at is graphing a line of an equation. So we're going to do this in slope-intercept form. Again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. A y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis on a graph. So first we're going to look at the line y equals 4 over 5x plus 2. To start to graph this, we're going to need to identify the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the number that replaced the b. In this case, it's a positive 2. Again, that's where it crosses the y-axis. So as I'm looking at the xy coordinate, these are our x values, these are our y values, I'm going to count up 2 in the y direction and plot a point. So I use the y-intercept from the equation and plotted it at a positive 2 on the y-axis. From here, I'm going to then use the slope from the equation to help me plot the second point. The slope of our equation is 4 over 5. With a slope of 4 over 5, I can either rise or go vertically 4, and then run or go horizontally 5, or I could rise vertically -4 and run horizontally -5. It doesn't matter which one you pick, but you have to be consistent. I'm going to go 4 over 5. So that means I'm going to count up 4 from the point, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll plot my second point. Again, I said I could go down 4, so if I had done that from that blue point, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, but since I'm going in the negative direction, I must go in the negative direction 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will see that these will line up, and I can draw a line that goes directly through those 2 points or 3 points. That's the third step, to draw a line between the points and extend them with arrows. And that is how you graph a line in slope or from slope-intercept form. The second thing I want to look at is writing an equation from a graph. So as I'm looking at this graph, I want to first identify the slope. In order to do that, I need to figure out 2 points. We have a point over here, 0, 1, and a point over here, 4, -2. In order to find my slope, I have to do the vertical change over the horizontal change. Okay, so vertically, I'm going down 1, 2, 3, down, so a -3, and horizontally, I'm going in the positive direction 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope is -3 over 4. Once we've found the slope, we now need to identify the y-intercept. Again, the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. As you can see, the line is crossing the y-axis right over here at a y value of 1. So my y-intercept, or my b, is 1. Finally, step 3 is to take the slope that we found and the y-intercept that we found and plug it into the equation. The equation of a line in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. I found my m. It's -3 over 4, so I'm going to replace the m with a -3 over 4. And I found my b. It's a positive 1, so I'm going to replace my b with a positive 1. I'll use a plus 1. Everything else stays the same. So I drop down the y equals and I drop down the x. And so the equation of my line in slope-intercept form is y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 1. And that is how you write the equation of a line from a graph. Finally, I want to help you guys understand slope-intercept form. So let's look at a problem that gives us 2 points, and let's figure out what the equation of the line in slope-intercept form is given these 2 points. So step 1 is we're going to have to find the slope between those 2 points. I'm going to highlight my points. These are the points that I'm going to use. Okay, these points are going to be on the line. In order to find the slope, we should use the slope formula. The slope formula is m, meaning slope, equals the change in the y's over the change in the x's. Now you'll notice that my y2 came first, so my x2 comes first. My y1 came second, so my x2 comes second. Okay? Where did my y1 and my y2, my x1 and my x2 come from? Well, they came from points. I'm going to call this point 1, so I'll call it x1, y1, and this will be point 2. So I'll call this x2, y2. So to calculate the slope, I'm just going to replace the y2, y1, the x2, and the x1. Everything else stays the same. Okay, in place of the y2 will be a 4, and in place of the y1 will be a negative 2. In place of the x2 will be a 3, and in place of the x1 will be a negative 1. Let's clean this up a little. Whenever we see a double negative, we can change that into a positive. So 4 minus negative 2 is really 4 plus 2. And 3 minus negative 1 is really 3 plus 1. Now when I simplify, 4 plus 2 is 6, 3 plus 1 is 4, but that simplifies a little bit more. 6 over 4. What number goes into both of them? It's 2. 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 4 twice. So the slope of this equation is 3 over 4. Step 2, once you have the slope, you can use that in any of the 2 or any 1 point from the original equation. I like positives, so I'm going to choose 3, 4 as my point. Okay, so we're going to use 3, 4 as our point. That means the x value in this case is going to be 3. The y value is going to be 4. And we just calculated our slope to equal 3 over 2. Let's write the slope-intercept form. The slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We're trying to find the y-intercept. That means we need to find the b. So in order to find the b, we need to know what the x, the y, and the m are. But we do know that from over here on the left. So I'm just going to substitute in the correct numbers into their places. So for y, it equals 4. M is 3 over 2. X is 3. And we don't know b, but we'll figure it out in a moment. Now I'm going to do some multiplication. The 4 stays. 3 times 3 is 9, divided by 2 is 4.5. And we have our positive b, or plus b. To isolate the b, the variable, we need to use inverse operations and get the 4.5 to the other side. So because it's positive, to get it to the other side of the equation, I'm going to subtract it from both sides, taking away 4.5 from both sides. On the right, that just leaves us with a b, but on the left, 4 take away 4.5 is negative 0.5. So we just found our b value. It's negative 0.5. We also know our m value. It's 3.5. And all you need for slope-intercept form is the m value and the b value. So step 3 is just to take slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and replace the m and replace the b with the numbers that you just calculated. So the y stays, the equal sign stays. Our slope was 3 over 2. The x stays, and our b was negative 0.5, so we're going to do minus 0.5. And this is the equation of the line in slope